is ultimately nobody else's business because those guys have something going on. I mean, if you're somebody who thinks that Tom Thibodeau is unfairly jeopardizing Derrick Rose's career, then you have to step back a second and go, wait a minute, how does Derrick Rose have this career right now if it wasn't for Tom Thibodeau going out on a limb and getting all kinds of abuse by the Tibbs haters, and the fact that, Rose and Tibbs both have really checkered histories for various reasons, and however that worked out, the Wolves blew out the Bulls. Rose got his MVP chance. Tibbs got his victory. Second win in a row on the road. The second guess is easy, but the third guess trumps it.
Yeah.
Which is that, hey, nobody got hurt, and it was going to be what it was going to be, and those guys have a pipeline that none one of us have any access to.
That's right. We'll do two more here before we wrap up. Carl Gillen says, clearly Wiggins needs someone to get him the ball in order to get himself going. Does having Tyus in the starting lineup create a better functioning offense because of his ability to distribute to key guys like Wiggins?
Well, that's always been the biggest argument for people who like Tyus Jones, and I actually really like Tyus Jones, is how the Wolves starters play when Tyus is on the floor versus Jeff Teague. Defensively is actually the biggest difference, not offensively.
Right.
Tyus just seems to function really well as an adjunct. When he's next to really good players, he plays a lot better. He's not somebody who can lift a bad unit, as we saw last year, although he did perform somewhat miracles in terms of his net rating with Jamal Crawford when everyone else was in the tank on Crawford. All that said, I'm not sure that getting Wiggins the ball and Tyus Jones at the point guard is the lotto combo that's going to click everything. I think that, Wiggins getting the ball is down on the list of issues for Wiggins.
Right.
And getting Wiggins going is down on the list of issues for the Timberwolves, in my opinion.
Yeah, I mean, this is kind of the whole Tyus thing, sort of always brings me back to the second guessing the Rubio Jeff Teague situation, because now knowing the circumstances and Tom Thibodeau as the coach and Ricky Rubio as the point guard, that just wasn't going to work. So they had to make a move to get someone who Tibbs liked more. But I just would have loved to see Rubio, Towns, Butler, Wiggins, Taj, and even now in this latest iteration with Covington in Butler's place, and a true starting caliber point guard that is a pass first guy that also plays great defense. It made so much sense to me, and that's the great head scratcher for me is why it was so immediately obvious they had to move on from him in the long haul.
But if you look at Thibodeau's history, pass first and defense oriented are the two things on the bottom of his list for
which is remarkable.
It is remarkable.
It's head scratching to me.
This is a guy who embraced, Nate Robinson.
Yeah. John Lucas.
Exactly.
Yeah.
I mean, these guys, he likes
Augustine.
point guards. He likes, one of the reasons I'm sure he likes Bayless is because Bayless was chucking right off the, right out of the chute.
Mm-hmm.
It's a weird situation. And one of the things I think, I have no way to prove this. I mean, the numbers kind of add up for me. But Tyus Jones started the chuck in the preseason.
Yeah.
He figured out, he said, all right, Tom Thibodeau likes a guy who tries to generate his own shot first. And he was throwing, he was tossing up a lot of shots. I think it screwed up his off. I mean, he was terrible the first month or two of the season.
Yes, he was.
And I think that some of that was that he left his own personality, and I think he tried to adapt to Tibbs. I have no proof of that and no evidence. Nobody's told me that, and nobody would tell me that even if I asked him directly. But it's, you just got through saying Tom Thibodeau and Ricky Rubio was never going to work. Tom Thibodeau and Tyus Jones is never going to work.
That's right. Yep. And finally, last one, we can do this quickly because Jay the Bail Bondsman has a ridiculous question about what's the realistic trade value of Karl Towns. Well, If you can go get Anthony Davis, yeah, go get him. But I just don't. I don't see any scenario where this team is trading their franchise centerpiece right now.
Yeah, Towns' value is actually diminished compared to what it was a year or two ago. You never want to trade a marquee player who still has a lot, left for a comparable player unless you're really sure. Anthony Davis is an interesting comp. I'm not sure that Anthony Davis is going to. Why would he exchange New Orleans for Minnesota?
Yes, yeah, which is why it's not realistic. Is what I'm saying.
Yeah. I understand there's some angst against Towns'. Sometimes you wonder whether or not Towns has the poise to thrive in the clutch, and sometimes you wonder about Towns' defense. But my goodness, he came about 20 free throws, made free throws short of being a 50, 40, 90 guy last year as a 6'11 center. Come on. Somebody who can hit 54% of his shots, 42% of his trays, and 88% of his free throws, and play in a system that is not geared to him, I believe. Let's not talk about trading that dude.
That's right. Well, okay. Before we wrap up, I'd like to say thanks again to TSR Injury Law, to sodastick.com for sponsoring the program. And Britt, thanks for stopping by. This has been a long time in the making, and I don't think we said anything that we're going to be regretting the next time we get together, but I guess you never know.
We never know.